today's episode, we are going to be talking about the relationship between Taurus and Scorpio.
Some serious alchemy we're going to be discussing here. So we are teasing out this deeper intelligence that exists all around us, that we go through every single day, every single month, every single year, which is this journey through the zodiacal archetypes. And specifically, what Vanessa and I are so excited about is helping you understand what is archetype magic and how you can use it in your life. So tell us a little bit about what we talked about. Let's recap a little bit, Vanessa, from our last episode where we were teasing out Taurus and the energy there, and specifically our new paradigm anchor point for the Taurus energy. Take it away.
Yes, let's go ahead and dive in. If you want a more detailed conversation about that, don't forget to go back and listen to our Taurus episode. But for the purposes of recap, definitely we're looking to anchor and take the best of every archetype that we're moving through in this journey. And with Taurus, we talked about the energy and concept of embodied synergy, because Taurus is one of the most embodied and physical and sensual signs. What is it that you love about Taurus, Vila?
Oh my God, I really do like Taurus. I really, really do. It's something that I think in our modern world, we need to be reminded of over and over and over, because we've become so mental, right? We become so in our heads and on the screens and typing and thinking and projecting out. We forget to be here. We forget to be in our bodies, having an experience of what we see, what we hear, what we sense, what we smell. And so Taurus is all about that physical sensation, the sensuality, the embodiment side of it, because we are here having a physical experience. And Taurus is that earth sign. It's the first earth sign as we move through the zodiacal wheel. It's like, here's the physical. This is our experience of physicality. And it's so important for us to really kind of sink into it and it's not about going fast. It's not about having a lot of, out. It's about here, now. Here, now.
Yes. Here and now, being in bliss, being in pleasure, and really enjoying being in the physical, because that's we as spiritual beings, we came here to have a physical experience, and reminding us of the joy and the beauty of that. And on the flip side, the shadow of Taurus and being so physical is that we can get stuck in the physical. We can get stuck in our comfort zone. We can get attached to just, you used the words creature comforts. So just really like wanting to be in a cocoon of all the things that we enjoy and the things that bring us pleasure. And then that's it. Like not really seeing beyond that. So that's like the shadow side that we can get stuck in, is like just only being physical and not remembering that we're also spiritual beings.
Absolutely. And with that, there's this part of Taurus that's also about getting our needs met, getting our physical needs met. And so there's a part of the shadow, another facet of that shadow is kind of denying our needs or not willing to receive what is necessary to meet our needs. And so Taurus is a very receptive sign. That was one of the things you pointed out in one of our other conversations, that I was like, yes, we have to remember that, because it's a huge piece of where our abundance and our flow and our stability and our security can come from, but in a movement perspective. And that's what we're really going to dive into in this Taurus Scorpio dance, is that, yes, Taurus is about the structure, the physicality, the material world. And it's so important that we don't get stuck or rigid. And so that, so it's like, we want to receive, but receive as part of a flow.
And then we talked a lot about the concept, of synergy and what that means. And all of these different parts of us, from, our physical body as just our foundation, but then there's, an emotional part of us, there's the, mental part of us, there's the spiritual part of us, and then there's many, many, many aspects of us as we're exploring this, zodiac wheel, there's, these 12 specific aspects of ourselves. So the bringing of that together and being aware of those things and having them work together is the synergy that we want to have in our lives, that we move into the new paradigm to be superheroes. So because when we are having all of those things online, we can be so much greater.
So I'm going to just bring this piece in because it just made me chuckle earlier, which I used the phrase, the wisdom of the toddler, because Taurus actually lines up when we look at the developmental phases through the zodiac. It's the time period of the developmental phase of the toddler. And so when you think about a happy toddler, they're so delighted, right? Everything is right with the world, and they're like, yes, that's fantastic, and anything is possible with a happy toddler. On the other hand, an unhappy toddler, everything falls apart, right? And so, as you're talking about
tantrum.
Yeah, exactly. And as a parent, like the last thing in the world you want to try to do is negotiate with a toddler who's having a tantrum in the middle of whatever, because they're so clear about like, I need this right now. So with that, like, we don't want to get stuck in a toddler mentality by any means, but there is a wisdom to that. It's all very clear. Like, if your needs are being met, you're getting what you want, you're getting what you need, you're in joy. You're either are, you're not, right? And so that synergy that you're talking about, it's like, it's really kind of like that happy toddler when things are, all lined up, and, the needs are getting met, the emotional needs are there, the physical needs are there. We're in our zone. Woo woo. Then everything becomes possible. So it's like, it's that like clicked into place, all the puzzle pieces are there. And from that homeostasis, we can up level to that superhero status that you were talking about, and bring about that synergy into the next level.
I love it.
Okay, so what is this relationship between Taurus and Scorpio? So on our wheel, you can see it here. So here's Taurus right there. And then right across down here, it's a little hard to see, it's a little blurry, is Scorpio. So they're on an axis. And so that means they have counterpart energies. So in the dance of the moon, we'll get our new moon in Taurus when we're in the sign of Taurus. And then we'll get our full moon in Scorpio during the time of Taurus. So we have a chance to work those counterpart energies and do some magic that way. And of course, we can always work that magic. It's highlighted through the moon cycle, but it's possible to engage that axis anytime we need it. And that's really the point of this cosmic conduit work, right? Is that we can be the magicians of these zodiacal archetypes and bring them in and engage them at any time that we need them. So what is this dance between Taurus and Scorpio, Vanessa?
One of the ways that this relationship for me stands out is we talked about Taurus being very physical, and the possibility of even like getting stuck in that physicality or, materialism even. And Scorpio is one of the most deeply spiritual and mystical signs.
Oh, yeah.
And so that it's like that possibility of reminding us that there's more than just the physical. So that's one of the main aspects that I see in this dance here. And there's others. Like what else is there? Or did you want to expand on that?
Let's go to this mystical piece, because I love that, and I personally have quite a bit of Scorpio energy, and it's something that, is an interesting dance, because it's seen to be one of the hardest signs, in the wheel, right? So it's a challenging set of archetypes, whereas Taurus, is kind of more comfortable, right? It's more like, oh yeah, we like Taurus because it helps us feel good. Where Scorpio isn't so much of a feel-good sign, oh, let's get comfortable in Scorpio. We don't do that. It's deeply transformative. And, I think the thing that comes to me over and over with Scorpio is that it really is about that underworld journey. It's like, we're going to go into the shadow and we're going to find something, the Scorpions are going to go to those places. It's going to crawl under the rocks. It's going to go, it's the underneath and reveal something. And so, it really does kind of exactly what you were saying, which is it makes it kind of impossible for Taurus to get stuck and stay still, right? When you have, it's like anytime that's going to happen, Scorpion's going to come up and like do a little pinch, do a little bite, and like, the bull's going to start running, because the Scorpion, the job of Scorpio is to come back to that transformative, there's more than just this physical plane for us to keep in mind and to
Right.
engage with.
Right. And so with the Taurus energy, it's really like all about comfort and staying in the comfort zone and like not really wanting change.
Mm-hmm.
Versus the Scorpio energy is like all about change. It's all
Right.
about, okay, well, if this isn't working, it's time to die and be reborn,
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
So
I mean,
yeah.
perfect counterparts then, right? So, and with that, with the earth and the water, right? So then it's like, anytime earth starts getting too rigid, that water can come in and just dissolve, it's going to dissolve the calcified anything, and allow for movement again and restructuring. And so there's a beautiful dance going on there. So so in the world of our new paradigm anchors, so we have for Taurus is that embodied synergy. So coming into that place where all of that pleasure and sensuality and and physicality that we have in Taurus, we're using it to synergize something greater than just ourselves. So going beyond that selfish toddler mentality and understanding the greater whole. In the world of Scorpio, we have what we are referring to as purposeful devotion. Do you want to speak on that for a moment?
Yeah, well, I think Scorpio being, again, like one of the most spiritual signs, like there is this potential for like deep devotion. And
Yeah.
Scorpio energy is really like very much like all or nothing. So when you find that purpose of something greater good, the spiritual tenets of life, like the higher aspects of life, and you're using that like fiery Scorpio devotional energy of like almost obsession, like really direct that energy, because Scorpio is also like it's a water sign, but it can also be very fiery. So when you take that really intense energy and direct it towards something that's really on like for the higher greater good, like that's where we're creating more power and more beauty and more good. Because one of the shadows of Scorpio is like destructive. It can be really destructive. It can be like the Scorpio tail can just come out and like sting,
Right.
and then create chaos. So when you take this energy that's so powerful and you direct it in a way that's like towards a higher good, then like we're really creating something, so we're directing that power.
And I love the word devotion here. Like it just like it's like yes, because like you said, the word I like to use with Scorpio is fierce. There's a fierceness there. And when I think of people, in my life who are Scorpios, they're very loyal, right? Very devoted. Like you've got a Scorpio on your team, you've got a Scorpio right by you, like they're with you. Like there's an intense sort of fierce loyalty. And so when we bring that energy into the world of devotion, like devoted to that purpose, what am I really here to bring about in the world? Like what? So yes, I'm here in this physical body, I'm here having this physical experience, but what's the purpose of it? What's the reason behind that? And having that commitment, that dedication, like you were just speaking to, is so key. And having a place for Scorpio to really help us continue to remember that. And so I think that's as we talk about like what is the magic that we're doing here in this, on this continuum, on this spectrum, on this axis between Taurus and Scorpio. And, what's the alchemization that happens between these two? And I think you said it earlier, but I'd love to just revisit it again, right? It's that physical, spiritual, we're dual beings, right? We're at our core, we're spiritual, we're here having a physical experience. And how do we get the two to really play well and dance well together. And that's part of this magic right here.
Absolutely. And one of the things that you said in one of our other conversations, we touched on a little bit here, is that really Taurus, one of the gifts we can get in Taurus is about like learning to meet our own needs and to get our needs met. And that's really more specifically our physical needs and what it takes to light us up. Where on the other hand, in Scorpio, it's really about like our spiritual needs, like our
Yeah.
need to understand the mystery and our place in the universe.
Yeah, and as a parent, I have to say this is a big theme in my, like, on my heart, right? Because I feel like in the quote regular world, the muggle world, so to speak, there's very, very, very little emphasis on spiritual needs. And although, but like as a parent, we know our children have very specific spiritual needs. They need to feel loved. They need to feel like they're safe. They need to feel that there's a place for them. They need to feel validated and held, right? So we can oftentimes think of those as physical needs, like, okay, I'm physically safe, but it's not just physical safety. It's also emotional safety and mental safety, and just safe in the sense that the expression of who I am is valuable. That self-worth, that's a spiritual need. Don't know that people quite understand that. And so it's really where so many humans get in trouble, is like not understanding that we have spiritual needs, and these spiritual needs must be attended to. And so I love this focus, and the purposeful devotion. And that is one of the places. And of course, you and I have seen, we both work with people as spiritual guides and teachers and healers. And so we know so much more. People are like, I'm searching for this purpose. Like, I have a sense of purpose. Like, I got to find this.
Right.
Like, and it's pressure, right? They're like,
right.
Got to do this thing.
Right.
And we're not okay if we don't, right? The mental illness, the depression, the anxiety, all of that starts to creep in because we're not tending to these spiritual needs.
Absolutely. I just made a post this morning about not being connected to purpose and not feeling aligned or feeling out of touch with purpose is one of the biggest spiritual, or one of the biggest types of suffering that I've seen in my clients or my students that come to me, is that like there is this deep pain, even like a suffering of not being on track with where your soul needs to go in this life. And so I think that really, to boil that down, feeling like you're really clear and living on purpose is a spiritual need.
Totally.
Like one of the biggest ones.
And I think if I could send a message out to the world, the thing I would want people to know more than anything else is that our spiritual purpose is programmed into us, right? It's literally in our DNA. It's in the very cellular material that makes us who we are. And like for you and I, we've been doing this work within the Modern Mystery School tradition, and helping people find purpose for 15 plus years now, right? So for us, we're like, well, yeah, of course, that's where it is. Where else would it be? But it's also kind of a revelation for a lot of people because there's such confusion around why are we really here? And from in our tradition and our spiritual approach to life, it's like we're here to fulfill our unique life purpose, each one of us individually. And so we can actually rest into that. And I love that then we get that dynamic here with Taurus and Scorpio, because it's like as we meet those physical needs with Taurus and that embodied synergy, we go a little bit deeper in. And when we go deeper into the embodiment side of it, we will find, oh, here is where purpose resides. And then we can have that, that support of the Scorpio energy to keep us on track. And like when
Right.
you know, when the bull start, because you think about the bull being, an ally for us in human life, right? It's like a lot of work can get done with the bull, right? But if the bull starts going off track, or getting a little lost and confused, right, then that scorpion's gonna like "Meow, meow, meow." help get back
Yeah.
on track with the purpose, right?
Yeah, I was just thinking of another thing that happens on this axis, because really, when we look at the axis or the relationship between the two signs, it's really an opportunity for us to see where we're missing out on wholeness.
Mm,
And what I see here is another thing that happens, especially with spiritual entrepreneurs or people that really are purpose driven, is sometimes we can get out of balance and not take care of ourselves because we're so purpose driven and so devoted to this greater cause that we forget to take care of ourselves. And so when we come back again to the other side of that, of this, the Taurus, it's like, okay, well, when my needs are met and I'm really, being enriched and nourished and fulfilled physically and synergistically on all levels, then I'm more efficient and I'm more, capable of fulfilling my purpose and affecting people in the world. So there's all these different pieces here that are always like a dance.
I love that. I love that so much because you and I have had so many conversations, Vanessa, about this place of what we really want to be helping people do, especially women, but really everyone, is understand more of the feminine flow, more of how feminine energy creates on planet Earth. And the new paradigm is kind of insisting that we get better at it because we've been
Mhm, mhm.
focused on the masculine for so long. And one of the pieces is understanding feminine efficiency. What is efficiency from a feminine perspective, because it's different from the masculine. And
Yeah.
and having an economy of energetic usage, right, where everything, it is that synergy. And so when we really sink into this intelligence that's not mental, right, it's that embodied intelligence, and then we can find that place where the flow happens, and the dance is going, and that rhythm is what it needs to be, and that's what protects us from things like burnout, and that's what protects us from things like
Mm,
getting overworked, or losing that work life balance, which is so common
right,
right now.
right.
And it's one of the biggest themes that came forward during COVID, right? Is like how many people were like, oh my God, I can't go back to this kind of job. I can't go back to this kind of work because I was so out of balance. And that is
Right.
so much what the teaching is, the learning and the alchemy on this axis between Taurus and Scorpio, is that correct balance for how we get our
Mm,
needs met.
I love it. And just one point before we kind of start to wrap up here is, you talked a little bit about the feminine rhythm, feminine way of like moving in the world and finding that balance. And yeah, it's been for me like wanting to really listen to what when I need rest. And
Mm,
as women, it's like there's actually scientific evidence that women need more sleep than
mhm.
men do. So, like thinking about Taurus because every Taurian I know loves their sleep, and like it's a slowing down and being
Yeah,
able to listen.
yeah.
So there's such deep wisdom in every one of these axes and every one of these relationships that we just keep uncovering. It's so exciting.
It is. And and just to reiterate this, because I just think it's the coolest thing ever, is that, again, we're traversing this wheel, following the sun signs, following the rhythm of the sun through each of these archetypal, houses and signs. But it's not limited to that. We actually go through these daily, as the earth is making its daily
Mm-hmm.
rotation, right? We rotate through this entire journey of the zodiac, which is the journey of the soul. And so we can absolutely draw in this energy and engage it at any time, and it makes up who we are. We are built with these archetypes. And so
Mm,
and then it's like they're there in the stars to like help us remember, like, so we never lose track of them. We're never going to forget, because they're there, you know creating this structure and reminding us of this intelligence that's embedded within us. And so it's so empowering and for me, so inspiring, because it means we can, as you know, we can claim our, you know, our magic and be the magicians that pull this, you know, be the alchemists that pull this energy in and really engage it to create what we want in our lives.
Yes, absolutely. So what would you say would be the essence of the Taurus and Scorpio alchemy?
Well, I think we've spoken to it. I think we've said it in a bunch of different ways. You're saying, how would I like summarize it in
Yes,
one
yes.
sentence?
Drop the juice, Vila, drop the juice.
Mic drop. Yeah, it's that dance of that physical spiritual flow and the faith in there's more than just the physical happening. And when I relax into that deeper intelligence, that embodied, you know, like when I sink in to what the intelligence that's embedded in the physical, and that reveals the purpose. So there's that faith that there's more to it than just the physical. And by engaging a deeper connection to my own physicality, that deeper purpose will be revealed.
I love that. I love that. And I'm just feeling also into how, you know, as we're really truly embodied and we're really like aware of our purpose and aware of ourselves and know ourselves as spiritual beings, then we're really like on track with how we can show up and really make the most of this life. So like bringing the spiritual all the way into the physical, the kingdom of spirit is embodied in my flesh is, you know, a very powerful statement that we use in universal Kabbalah. So really like that to me is like the essence also of this axis.
Totally. So okay, I'm just going to invite you all, come play with us. So we have so much fun with this material. If you hadn't noticed, it's something that we get very excited about. And so we actually have a community where we are doing actual work with this. So here we're talking about it, we're teasing it out, we're trying to understand it. But in our live monthly events and our ongoing membership in the Cosmic Conduit online community, we're actually doing this work. We're actually coming together in sacred space. We're doing self-ceremony with the moon cycle. So right now we're working with the new moon cycle with live events, doing ceremonies where you can take this archetypal energy and put it to work for yourself. And so we guide you through that process. We help you understand how to do it. You know, we give you this kind of information and tease it out, but then we go to work with it. And it's so much fun to get to come together in sacred space with like-minded people, because it's not just about this, right? It's like we were just saying, it's about a deeper sinking in. And that sinking in is what we do through that online community.
With community and ceremony and magic is, you know, really the key.
And then, you know, the magic that we do together is then, you know, magic you can take into your life and work with, you know, in however you want to apply it. So please come join us. So Cosmic Conduit community, you can follow us here, follow our ongoing podcast series, come join our University for the Soul online network. And that is where we have our monthly gatherings for the Cosmic Conduit ceremonies. It's such a joy and a pleasure, like getting to work with you, Vanessa, and teasing all this out. And we would love to have more of you come and play with us on a regular basis. So,
oh, thanks, Vila. So much fun. Yes, check out the links and all the various media, and we hope to see you soon.
And we'll be back with Gemini very soon.
All right. See you next time.